All right. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for attending another Workshop Wednesday week. I'm Jen Slattery with the League of Cities and Towns, and we're excited today to have Jennifer McElroy here to discuss 529 plans for our municipalities with us. Jen, thanks for being here. I think possibly it could be useful to for those who are in the room, since we do have a small group, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself, if you do have the ability to come off of go on camera or come off of mute. So if there we go. Hi, Robert. Please tell us about you.
Hi, Robert Perry, Director of Human Resources for the City of East Providence.
Hi, Robert.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? All right, I guess we'll go ahead and get started then. Jen, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. My name is Jen McElroy. I am from College Bound Saver. So thank you for joining our session this morning. So what we're going to be talking about is College Bound Saver, which is the state of Rhode Island's 529 plan. And we're going to talk about how you as the employer can offer this as a voluntary benefit to your employees. So I'm going to start out just talking a little bit about how we support employers and how it works. But then I'm actually going to go into our presentation today and talk about the program. This is the same presentation that I would typically give to individuals or groups or webinars that they want to learn more about College Bound Saver. But I do think it's important that everyone understands the program and how it works. I think that always helps when you want to offer this to employees, that you understand, you have a full understanding of the product itself. And then I'll finish up at the end. We'll talk again a little bit about the process if you're interested in offering this to your employees. And then we can have questions at any point. So we do have a small group here today. You're more than welcome to take yourself off of mute and ask questions as we go through the presentation. Or if you prefer, you can certainly use the chat function and we'll kind of monitor those questions as they come through chat. So just to start out a little bit, again, the voluntary benefit for employers, there's a couple key things that's really important for you to know as you're considering whether or not you want to offer this benefit to your employees. First, there is no cost to the employer. So this is a free voluntary benefit that you can offer to all your employees. So a lot of times I'm talking to HR professionals. They want to attract and retain their employees, and this is a great way for them to be able to enhance their benefit package and offer College Bound Saver as another way for individuals to save, obviously in this case, saving for education. There are no commitments. So if you're interested in offering College Bound Saver to your employees, there's nothing you need to sign. There is no contract. There's nothing except for basically a verbal agreement that you think that College Bound Saver would be beneficial to your employees. And then you would allow me access to your employees. So for example, I saw earlier, maybe she's still on here, Joan Topolian from City of Providence.
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you again. So I saw Joan last week for City of Providence. She did have 3 benefit fairs, and so I was able to attend those fairs with Joan and speak with employees. Additionally, we will also offer a webinar to the City of Providence employees, just like we did last year. So individuals can set up a meeting with me, either virtual or in person, to learn more about College Bound Saver. And then I can also assist them in opening up new accounts. So if they're interested in opening up an account, again, either virtually or in person, I can support those employees by walking them through the process of opening up the account and just helping them get everything set up and ready to go, especially if they want to contribute via payroll direct deposit. Another important thing to note is that there are no filings. So sometimes there's a misconception that contributions that are coming into College Bound Saver are pre-tax. That is not the case with College Bound Saver. These are all post-tax contributions. And what this means is that it is not a payroll deduction. It is actually a payroll direct deposit, right? So just an easy way right now, if your employees are able to save from payroll direct deposit, this would just be adding an additional checking account. So sometimes the work might come from your payroll department and adding that checking account information, but other than that, there would be no additional requirements from the employer side. So thank you, Jen, for asking me if I needed the PowerPoint. I did not need it up until this point, but I think I do now. So before I jump into the presentation, I just want to pause for a second to see if anyone has any questions on some of those key important points about the voluntary benefit and offering it to employees. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my screen up. So hopefully everyone can see my screen at this point. This again is the presentation that I present to employees. I'm going to go through the presentation. I might go a little bit quicker. I just don't think you potentially need every single detail, but I can certainly answer questions if I miss something. So please feel free to let me know. So when we're talking about the cost of college, many of the employees want to know how much do they have to save? How much do they need to save? You know, is this something that's even feasible for them? As we all know that college is very expensive. This slide here, I talk about what the current cost of college is on the left-hand side of the slide. So it shows a public institution and a private institution. Currently today, if you had an 18-year-old, they might be paying anywhere from $28,000 to $60,000 per year. What this slide does do, though, is it projects what those potential costs might look like 18 years from now. This is simply based on inflation, but just to give families an idea that if you have an infant at home, what you might need to pay for 18 years from now. The goal of this slide is not to overwhelm people and think that this is an unsurmountable task. That is not the case at all. What we're really trying to get people to do is just to think about what is their goal when they are saving for education. Right? So you can use money in a 529 plan, not just for tuition, but also out-of-pocket costs, room and board, books, fees, computers, etc. So just to get people to think about what is their strategy when saving for education. Now, the goal of College Bound Saver and 529 plans is just to help families save and not take out a lot of student loans, right? So College Bound Saver is the state of Rhode Island's 529 plan. Every state offers their own plan. This plan happens to be the state of Rhode Island's plan, and you can invest in any state plan that you would like. However, as a Rhode Island taxpayer, this is the only plan in which you're able to take advantage of the state tax deduction. So in this presentation, there's 4 sections I'll talk about. One, just going to talk about the process. If you have employees who are interested in opening up an account, I'm going to walk you kind of through what they need to do and how it needs to be done. A lot of families might be worried that it's not affordable to save for education, but in fact it is. So we're going to talk about how to make it more affordable for families to save. On the flexible section, we will be talking about the program itself, College Bound Saver, how it works, where you can use the money, what you can use the money for. And the number one question I hear from families is, what happens if I save this money for education, but my child doesn't use the money for education? Do I lose the money? Just to give you a little bit of a fast forward, you do not lose the money. So we're just going to talk about what are your options when you're saving for education. And then finally, we're going to talk about the tax benefits in College Bound Saver. So many families might already be saving in a savings account at a bank, which is perfectly fine. But they might be missing out on some additional tax benefits. So we'll talk about that too. Oops, too fast. So just to let you know, easy, I'm the relationship manager. I cover the state of Rhode Island, all the cities and towns. So some of you I'm working with and some of you I'm not currently working with. I cover the school districts, the libraries, and also some nonprofit organizations. My colleague Melissa Bailey covers the for-profit institutions in the state of Rhode Island. So you might see us at fairs. In the summertime, we do a lot of fairs. We're at a lot of libraries. We are supporting the summer reading program at the libraries this year again. So you will see the 2 of us throughout the state of Rhode Island. But as your relationship manager, I'm here to support you as the employer and also all of your employees. I'm just going to try and make it as easy as possible for both of you. So if and when your employees are ready to open up an account, again, I can assist them in a one-on-one meeting. I can bring my laptop to their office, or I can meet them at a local library, or they're able to do this on their own as well. But it just makes it a little bit easier if I can help them walk them through this process. They will need to go onto our website and click on College Bound Saver. On the top right-hand side, there's a button that says Open an Account. That's how they will start the enrollment process. There's about 15 steps. It takes about 15 minutes or so to open up an account. And there's 2 parties when you open up a College Bound Saver account. There is the account owner, and then there is the beneficiary. The beneficiary is the person that you're saving for education for. So typically that's the child, grandchild, niece or nephew, or even yourself if you're looking to save for your own education. You will need name, address, date of birth, and social security number for all parties. So you'll want that for the account owner as well as any beneficiaries that you might be looking to open up an account for. We do allow employees to save on autopilot, as we talked about, payroll direct deposit. You can contribute directly from your checking account. However, saving on autopilot tends to be a lot easier for employees, right? Because they're already saving for retirement and other things. And this is just an easy way to set aside a small amount per paycheck and contribute and save towards their goals. In this case, it would be saving for education. A recurring contribution from their paycheck would be coming out every single time they receive a paycheck. So if they're receiving a paycheck, that amount would be deducted. If they retire, if they resign, or if they're on temporary leave or something like that, and they're not receiving a paycheck, you don't have to notify us, right? If they're not receiving a paycheck, they will not have any contributions going into their College Bound Saver account. So again, no need to worry about those types of situations. Now, anytime you decide to set up a recurring contribution from payroll direct deposit, you are still always in control of your contributions. So that means that you can stop them, start them, increase or decrease your contributions at any time. Basically, it is a two-step process. When they're opening up the account or they want to change their payroll direct deposit, they will log into College Bound Saver, click on a button on the left-hand side that says payroll direct deposit. At that point, you can change the amount that you want to, or put in a new amount or put in zero. You will print out a form from your College Bound Saver account, and this form has the information that you're going to send over to your payroll contact at your city or at your town. At that point, the payroll person will have the information in front of them, and they can make those updates, those changes in the employee's direct deposit accounts. Next, of course, affordability. Many families are concerned, groceries are expensive, that they're not able to save for education. Just want to let you know that if you want to set up a recurring contribution, the minimum is $1 per paycheck per account. So for example, if they had 3 children, it would be a minimum of $3 per paycheck for that account. Now, just so you know, from a logistics standpoint, as the employer or the payroll contact person, the amount that you will be sending College Bound Saver would be one total amount. So again, it might be $3 per paycheck. Once we receive that $3, we have instructions on our side as to where that money needs to go. So if we're going to be putting in $1 into 3 different accounts, then we will actually take care of the distribution of those monies once we receive them from payroll direct deposit. So the total amount coming out of their paycheck will be the total amount that will go to College Bound Saver, and then we will distribute the money as the instructions we have on file. If employees do not want to set up a recurring contribution from their payroll, they don't have to. They can set up a recurring contribution from their checking account, or they can just make periodic contributions whenever they want. So maybe they just want to contribute once or twice a year, and that's perfectly fine. If they want to open up an account today but not make contributions until 6 months later or whatever, you do not have to put any money into the account to get the account open. So again, trying to make sure that those hurdles to save for education are as low as possible. Talking about fees, I'm not going to go into too much depth on this, but just so you know, there are no fees to have the accounts open at College Bound Saver, no account maintenance fees, so they're not paying a monthly fee, a quarterly fee, an annual fee, or anything like that. If they have 1 account with College Bound Saver or 20 accounts, it doesn't make a difference. You're still not paying any of those fees. Employees, though, however, will be choosing an investment similar to retirement accounts. These investments may have fees associated with them. So what you'll see there is that asset management fee. And it should make you good to know that these fees in Rhode Island's 529 plan are very low, anywhere from 0.02 to 0.31%, which means that on a $1,000 investment, the lowest that they would be paying is 20 cents, and the highest they'd be paying is $3.10. So these fees are very low. And again, it really depends on what investment that the employee chooses to invest in. Let me know if you have questions on that. I'm happy to answer those too. So friends and family can help too. So let's say for an example, I open up an account for my children. I have one for each of them. And then let's say my sister, their aunt, would also like to make contributions into their College Bound Saver account. You're certainly able to do that. We have a program called UGift. UGift is an easy way for friends and family to make contributions directly into that account on behalf of that student or that child. So an easy way for them to access additional money. Another partnership we have is with uPromise. I won't go into a lot of detail, but it is a partnership where you can open up a free account at uPromise. You can link a credit card that you already have in your wallet and you can get rewards. And then these rewards points will automatically sweep out of your uPromise account and into your College Bound Saver account. So it just allows them to save more money much quicker. We do have an app. So once the account is open, if they're interested in downloading that app to their phone, they are able to check balances, look at the transaction history, and make contributions directly from their phone. So an easy way just to make sure that you are on track with your targets and your goals. All right, so the third section of the presentation, we're going to talk about College Bound Saver itself, the program, how it works, where you can use the money, and what you can use the money for. So anyone can participate. So for example, most of the time I'm speaking to parents that are opening up accounts for their children. That is certainly the case with me. I have 2 children. They are 8 and 11, and I'm saving for my kids. However, you can be a grandparent saving for a grandchild. You can be an aunt or an uncle saving for a niece or nephew, or they can even save for their own education. So if they want to go back and pursue higher education or what have you, you can use the money in the account for that as well. Now, the nice thing about these accounts is that they're very flexible and the money can be shared amongst all the family members. So you can transfer the money to one child if the other child does not use the money. If you're saving for your higher education, but then let's say you decide not to use it for whatever reason, you can transfer that to your children and they can use it. You can even transfer to grandchildren too. So lots of flexibility with these accounts. Not just Rhode Island, not just tuition. This is where you can use the money and what you can use the money for. This is an IRS definition, and it's referred to as qualified educational expenses. Okay, so the money can be used at any institution that accepts federal financial aid. That's across the United States and even internationally. So it can be college, trade schools, vocational schools, as well as apprenticeships, undergrad, graduate school, law school, etc. The money can be used to pay for tuition, but also can be used for room and board, both on campus as well as off campus, books, fees, computers, and other school-related expenses. Now, this definition does get broadened by the IRS. A couple of enhancements that they've added over the past couple of years. They do allow private school K through 12 tuition up to $10,000 per year. So if your child is in private school currently, or that's something that you're thinking about, you are able to save in College Bound Saver and use $10,000 per year for private school tuition. They also enhanced the definition that you can now use up to $10,000 for student loan repayment. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're saving for someone, they're 16 or 18 years old, so you don't have a lot of time to save. You are able to continue to save while they're in school, potentially take out a student loan, and then you're able to use the money in your savings account in your 529 plan to be able to pay back $10,000 in student loans. So just a strategic way that you might be able to use your College Bound Saver account. There might be more enhancements to these laws, but we'll just have to keep our ears to the ground and see what else they come up with. We talked about contributing, so I'll look at that section. So the number one question I hear from families is, my daughter is 3 years old. I'm going to save up all this money for her. What happens if she never uses the money? Do I lose the money? And again, you do not lose the money. So here are some of your options. The first bullet point says do nothing. What I mean by do nothing is there's no time limit to use the money. You can use the money at any age. So maybe they take a couple years off and decide to go back when they're 25 or even 45. That's perfectly fine. The money will stay invested in the account and will continue to grow with the market. And they can take the money out at any time when they want to use the money for education. The second bullet point is change the beneficiary to another member of the family. We talked about that. So you can change it to another sibling. You can use it for your own education. You can pass it on to grandchildren. The third bullet point says you can withdraw your money at any time. So unlike some retirement accounts, you are able to access this money at any time. However, you will pay taxes and a 10% penalty on the growth of the account if the money is not used for education. So if you do use the money for education, there's no taxes, no penalties on the withdrawals. But if you decide that your car is broken down and you need to use the money in your College Bound Saver account to fix your car, we will send that money back to your checking account. It might take a couple days, but you will pay taxes and again, a 10% penalty on the earnings of the account. The money that you have contributed to the account, there will be no taxes and there will be no penalty, right? That money is already after tax. So you've already paid taxes on that money. The IRS just enhanced another option, roll over to a Roth IRA. This just happened in 2024. So if you have money in a 529 plan, you are able to roll that over into a Roth IRA for that beneficiary up to the maximum of $35,000. You do have a lot of options in case that off chance that your child or grandchild decides that they do not want to use the money for education. So as we talked about before, there are investments very similar to retirement accounts. I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't give advice, but I do walk employees through the different options that are available to them. I'm going to go through this section a little bit quicker, but just so you know, there is information on our website at collegeboundsaver.com. You can click on the investment portfolios and take a look, a deeper dive, but you can also see performance. Lots of people will ask me, does this account earn interest? It doesn't earn interest, it's invested in the market, but it does grow over time. They can choose their investment, but they can also change investments 2 times per calendar year. So employees are not locked in. Many of you are probably familiar with the retirement accounts that you offer at your place of employment. Those are a lot of times are target date portfolios. So if anyone's familiar with target date portfolios, it's based on the age of retirement, 65. It's aggressive when they're younger and then becomes more conservative automatically as they grow older. Age-based portfolios work the same way, same concept. However, the most time that they would really have is 18 years. So when they're babies, those portfolios are more aggressive, meaning more stocks and fewer bonds. Automatically, every 2 years, that portfolio will become more conservative. And by the time that child is 18 years old, it only has 10% stock and 90% bonds. So it's very conservative. So if they want us to manage the portfolios for them, they can choose age-based, and then we will do that rebalancing for them automatically. If you have employees that do pay attention closely to the stock market, perhaps they want to choose their own investments. They can choose between target risk portfolios and individual portfolios. On the investment side, we work with companies you may be familiar with already: Vanguard, BlackRock, Invesco, as well as Charles Schwab. So these are mutual funds and ETF funds, or portfolios of the funds as well, from these companies. All right, last section, talking about the tax benefits of the 529 plan. Again, College Bound Saver is the state of Rhode Island's 529 plan, so it's the only plan in which employees are able to take advantage of the Rhode Island state tax deduction. So for a single filer, the maximum is $500 per year, and for a married couple filing joint, the maximum is $1,000 per year. As long as you are making contributions into your College Bound Saver account up to these maximums, you are able to deduct them off of your Rhode Island state taxes. Just to give you an example, if you're a married couple filing joint and you're contributing, let's say, $50 a month for $600 a year, then the most you can deduct off of your Rhode Island state joint tax is $600, right? So the $1,000 is the maximum. If you contribute more than $1,000, which you are certainly more welcome to do, that's totally fine, but you can only deduct the maximum of $1,000. You can carry forward your deduction, so you can do it in 2025 if 2024 has already been deducted. The biggest benefit of 529 plans is that there's tax deferred growth. Now, this is the same benefit you receive in retirement accounts, right? So the money is in the account, hopefully growing in the market. You're not paying taxes on the growth of that account each and every year. that money is compounding and results in an account balance which is much larger than if you were saving outside of a 529 plan. Ultimately, the money that comes out of the 529 plan, if it's used for education expenses, will come out completely tax-free. So you will not be paying taxes on any of those withdrawals. When they're ready to actually distribute the money from their 529 plan, we can distribute the money 3 different ways. We can send the money to the school to pay for tuition. We can send the money back to the account owner, and they're able to use that money as needed, or we can actually send a check to the beneficiary being the student, and they can use that money to purchase books or a computer or pay for other expenses as well. They are not going to need to submit any receipts to College Bound Saver. What you're going to do is similar to how you do everything else with the IRS, and that is to hold on to your receipts in case you get audited by the IRS at some point in the future. So for example, if you withdrew $5,000 from College Bound Saver, you will receive a tax form from us at the end of the year. As you're performing your taxes, they'll ask you if you use the money for education. If you did, you check the box yes, and you're good to go. Save your receipts in case you get audited by the IRS. You just want to make sure that you had expenses at least $5,000 or more within that same calendar year. Then I typically walk them through a hypothetical about the difference between saving and borrowing. Just quickly though, if we were to pay for a $35,000 education, the family on the left-hand side saved money. They saved $100 a month for 18 years. When you do that math, it comes out to $21,600, but it earned interest for 18 years, right? So it earned $13,400, and they paid a $35,000 education bill, but really only cost them out of pocket $21,600. The family on the right borrowed $35,000, got a student loan, paid that back, and they had to pay $48,720. And this is just trying to show them the power of being able to save versus not. Now, you don't have to do $100 a month for 18 years, right? So any amount that you do save is money that they won't have to take out a student loan for. So it really does have an impact. So I'm going to pause here for just a second. That is the bulk of the presentation on College Bound Saver. And I just wanted to reiterate the process again, but I just want to pause and see if there's any questions at this point. Okay, just a little bit of logistics. Again, just want to repeat the same things I mentioned before. It's a voluntary benefit. It is free for you to be able to offer to your employees. There's no commitment, so no contracts that you need to sign. You just really need to support us being able to support your employees, and that would be by attending benefit fairs or sending out webinar information or being able to meet with employees on site, etc. There's no tax filings, again, because this is a post-tax contribution. There are no tax filings that need to be done. Again, this is a simple payroll direct deposit, adding an additional checking account. So again, the process would be to open up an account on our website. They would pick an amount, any amount that they want, at least $1 or more. And keep in mind, if they get paid twice per month, it would be per paycheck. They will select payroll direct deposit. They will print out a form at the end when the account is completely opened up. And this payroll form, which I can actually email to everyone afterwards, will have their new account information. So it'll have their new account number. It will also have our bank account number at Bank of New York Mellon, as well as our ABA number. And so what you're able to do is to go into the payroll system and add College Bound Saver as a new checking account and enter the amount that they've chosen. Maybe it's $5 per paycheck, and then you'll be all set up. So it's a 2-step process. If they'd like to do payroll direct deposit, open up the account, and then submit the form. If the form is not submitted to the payroll department, then obviously no money will be moving from their paycheck to College Bound Saver. They can choose another contribution method, again, by either linking a checking account and setting up a reoccurring contribution, or just making periodic contributions at some point in the future. So it is a pretty simple process. Let me just close this out. I think I can stop sharing. Oops, I don't want to stop share. There we go. So I hope that was really clear. Again, I'm the relationship manager. I would love to support all of you as well as your employees, and just see if anyone has any questions. Jen, did you have any questions?
Not for me. Maybe just if we want to I can forward out the presentation.
Yep.
And if you want to maybe put your contact info in the chat, that might be
Yeah, for
helpful
sure.
too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put that in here. And then I'm going to put my email in here, my phone number. And I work for a census. So my email is jennifermcelroy@acensus.com. And just so everyone knows, a census manages many of the 529 plans across the country. So we manage Rhode Island, but we also manage New York and Indianapolis, like all different plans. So.
Great.
632-893.
Oh, here's a question. Let's see. Okay, here's a question. If we choose to offer it to our employees, is there a minimum number of participants needed?
There is not. So you can have one person, you can have two people, it doesn't really matter. I will say from an employer standpoint, typically it starts off slow and builds every single year. So the first time that we talk about College Bound Saver and announce it to the employees, I might get a handful of people. Then subsequently every year I'll get a couple more and a couple more and a couple more, and that's basically how it builds. But there is no minimum. So we just, again, want to make it really easy for people to be able to save for education. We also do not have a specific time period. They can open up a new account at any point during the year, right? So it doesn't have to be through open enrollment. Thank you for that question.
Great. Anyone else? What is the general lead time needed for communication of the program and starting the program?
Yeah, so typically if you're interested in offering this to employees, what I can do is I can send you basically as an email that I have that you can announce it to your employees. So you can copy and paste it, put it in the email, basically introduces College Bound Saver, and then it has all of my contact information. Typically what I do is we'll set up like 2 or 3 webinars for like whatever week that you think is most appropriate. I also have a virtual link for them to schedule meetings with me virtually. So you can send that out to employees. That will allow them to either join a webinar, in the next upcoming week, or set up an individual one-on-one meeting with. So whatever works best for your timing will work for us too.
Great.
Okay,
and
I see
then,
that there.
Okay.
Robert Perry, yeah. We've offered this service in the past, not for a few years. Would this have been serviced by a census? Robert, I think you said you were in East Providence, if I remember correctly. 2020, I think, was when we were offering College Bound Saver, and then COVID happened, right? And then there were some personnel changes, and so I haven't been back there since. So if it was 2016 or newer or more recent, it would have been a census. If it was prior to 2016, it would have not been a census. So does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Can friends then contribute gifts to the account or only family members? It can be anybody. So if you send out that YouGift link, friends or family members can make contributions. So whether that's a birthday or a holiday, you can send that link out to anybody. Yep, you're welcome.
Great. Anyone else? Okay, well, thank you, Jen. I think this was super informative and such a great opportunity for people to save for what is very expensive for someone with student loans, can tell you. Wish I had been doing it all along. But thank you so much. I will have, if you want to email me the presentation or, email me whatever kind of information, I can share it back out to everyone. And for those of you who are here and would maybe like to have the video to share with perhaps your manager or whatnot, I am recording it and I will post it on our YouTube channel a little bit later today. And that is in any of, you can find the link in any of my email signatures. So, or just email me. I think that'll be it. So thank you, Jen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody else for attending.
All right. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, take care.